Now to the latest on the Jeffrey Epstein saga. The call for transparency over the files of the infamous pedophile has lawmakers in the nation's capital locked in a fierce battle. House Speaker Mike Johnson rebuffed a rare bipartisan push in Congress demanding the release of more Epstein documents. The Speaker ordered members home early for a month-long break, effectively shutting down the release of more Epstein documents until September. The move had some Democrats outraged.
This is a cover-up of epic proportions where you've got the majority party literally having us leave Congress early and not having the Rules Committee meet because they don't want to deal with releasing the Epstein files. We should release the Epstein files.
Well, if there's a cover-up, as he alleged, it's clear not everybody's on the same page. The House Oversight Committee today agreed to subpoena Epstein's convicted co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, to testify before Congress. And the DOJ wants to talk to Maxwell, too. In a post on X, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said the Department of Justice is reaching out to ask Maxwell, what do you know? It is worth pointing out Maxwell has been in prison now for 4 years, and no one from Congress or the DOJ has asked to speak to her before today. For more on all this, let's go to our panel. Mick Mulvaney, NewsNation contributor and former White House Chief of Staff, and former Jeffrey Epstein lawyer, David Schoen. Great to have both of you with me. Nick, let's start first with the politics of this. The House Oversight Committee voted to subpoena Maxwell to testify before Congress. One of Trump's most loyal supporters, Congressman Tim Burchett, led the way, writing on X, quote, "We've got to get these dirtbags," presumably talking about people who enabled Epstein and his clients. What do you make of that?
That Trump is having a difficulty getting folks to stay in line. A couple of weeks ago, he was asked the question, Elizabeth, what is MAGA? What makes up MAGA? And he said, MAGA is whatever I say it is. Well, that's being tested right now because a week ago he said that, MAGA would not pay any more attention to Jeffrey Epstein, and clearly that message hasn't gotten through. There's members of the Republican House of Representatives and the Senate right now who think they're better off politically to be, going after Jeffrey Epstein than they are to be doing what Donald Trump says. So that's going to be an interesting sort of development. I don't know how it's a cover-up. It was a cover-up, then the Biden administration is just as guilty because they had the file for 4 years. I think that gets lost in all of this. I don't think anybody really thinks, well, the Democrats hope that there's something really nasty about Donald Trump in there. But I think the better question is, why would the Democrats sit on it for 4 years, and then why would Trump not want it to come out now? What is that combination? That's a very strange combination. I think that's what the members of the House especially want to get to the bottom of.
David, the Department of Justice is reaching out to set up a meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell. This is very, very unusual. Do you think this meeting between Todd Blanche and Ghislaine Maxwell will actually happen?
It's interesting. Her lawyer today said that he appreciates Donald Trump's transparency. His lawyer is not exactly a fan of Donald Trump. I would say that, if she feels she can make a deal, or her lawyer feels she can make a deal for giving her testimony, then she'll meet with them. But, that's going to be challenged. Her credibility will be challenged based on the deal. I have to say, just returning to your last point, the dynamic is very interesting, both from the left and the right. To hear Congressman Liu, outraged at a cover-up just last year in the Biden administration, Director Comey's daughter was a prosecutor on the case. She filed a declaration asking Judge Gardef in the Southern District of New York not to release any Epstein documents in a case before him. And on the right, you've got these conspiracy theorists, Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who will never be satisfied. Facts are no obstacle to conspiracy theories. I don't know what they're looking for. There's no client list. There's no list in which Jeffrey Epstein documented such and such a young woman being with this person, wealthy and famous person. Doesn't exist. And there have been many false accusations out there. It's hard for me, other than accepting a prurient interest and the tantalizing facts, to understand what continues to drive this. I know there are political agendas. The left wants to sow chaos forever. The right has these conspiracy theories and so on. But, none of these things is helping the country. None of them helps any person in this country move on with bettering their lives.
Mick, the Maxwell subpoena comes as Democrats and Republicans join together to press for the Epstein files to be released. Again, their agendas might be different. Speaker Johnson is adjourning Congress early to push this whole thing off until September, saying, quote, "We are not going to play political games with this." But isn't that what he's doing by sending everybody home early so they can't move forward on this?
Yeah, I have a lot of sympathy for the speaker. They just don't know how to handle it. You know, Donald Trump doesn't want them to do anything. A lot of their members want to do something. Keep in mind, there was a discharge petition filed. That's a method, Elizabeth, to force a vote on something to the floor. There would have been a vote on that as early as, I think, tomorrow or the day after, and all indications are that that would have passed, so that there would have been a vote on the floor to release this material and so forth, which could have been embarrassing to President Trump, not because of anything that might be in the file, but because he said he didn't want it. So it would show political weakness. So I think, you know, Michael Johnson was forced to sort of throw up his hands and say, let's figure this one out in September. It's a big deal, though, because when they come back in September, they're only going to have 3 weeks to figure out how to fund the government, because the government end of the fiscal year is September 30th, and the government runs out of appropriated money at the end of that month. So
just
we'll
a little
going
stuff.
Right into a government shutdown discussion.
Yeah, just some minor things that they have to take care of. But Mick, to your point, and David, to your point as well, the Republicans are really caught in this case between their constituents. A Reuters Ipsos poll shows 69%, that's almost like 7 in 10 Americans believe the government is hiding details about Epstein's clients. So this is not an issue that is going to go away. I think, despite no matter how hard President Trump would like it to or is working to have it to. Mick Mulvaney, David Schoen, thank you both so much.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.